Okay. So yeah, somebody that's maybe in their
Pre-retirement
50s
or
or
retirement?
60s, right around that age. Like you
Yeah.
said, you don't have as much time. You said that earlier. So it's that
hmm
cost to benefit ratio definitely changes. But yeah, broad paint stroke. And then we'll get close to wrapping this thing up.
Yeah. It's red zone, right? You're right there.
Hmm.
Every decision you make is extraordinarily critical when you're in that pre-retirement / early years of retirement, because there's no bailouts left at that point. There's not 10 more years of income that you're going to earn, especially after you have retired. I mean, the worst possible thing is to have to unretire, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, happens from time to time. But I would say the reality check of the accumulated resources you have, right? So your
Hmm.
investments, the value of your real estate, and any kind of fixed assets that you have, like pension plans or Social Security or whatever income sources people might have that are kind of external to their own assets. The reality check of what that's going to realistically provide you for the rest of your life
Hmm.
is the most important thing to understand, right? I call
Hmm.
them fence posts. So it's like I need a minimum of X amount to live securely, right? Whatever that
Hmm.
number is, to pay my bills and to basically get by and make ends meet. That's the first fence post. And then the second fence post we want to look at is the life I actually want to lead in retirement, right? A life
Hmm.
that's worth retiring into
Hmm.
is the next fence post we want to look at. We always look at security first. We've got to keep people's financial plans secure. Otherwise, we can't authorize a retirement. Now, some people do it anyways, but
Hmm.
we wouldn't put our stamp of approval on it if we can't at least secure the financial
Hmm.
plan and the data behind the financial plan. But really, nobody wants to retire into a boring, meaningless life where you just like sit at home and pay bills. Right? You want to have
Right.
experiences. A lot of people want to travel. They want to spend time with their grandchildren. They want to move. They
Yeah.
want to do their hobbies that they love more frequently, usually, which costs money. And
Yeah.
so figuring out, and this is so hard to do before you've actually retired, you've got to try to figure out what is it going to feel like to be retired when you have 6 Saturdays and one Sunday, right?
Right. Yeah.
And most people stink at it for the first couple of years. Their identity is all over, especially men who worked in a particular industry where all their relationships were in that industry and their whole identity is like, it's
Right.
totally
Hmm.
shifted. So just being very mindful of that you don't know what you're doing, having a ton of grace and permission for yourself to kind of figure it out. And then by that second or third year into retirement, it should be the greatest part of your life. If you still
Right.
have some youth, because nobody's telling you what to do with your time, right?
Hmm.
You've got enough resources to take care of yourself. And you've hopefully developed a rhythm within your identity of who your new self is going to be for the next, whatever it is, 20 to 30 years, hopefully for most people. And that's just,
Sure.
there's nothing like that. My my
Hmm.
my one client he was an executive for a big insurance company for a lot of years, which is, meaning basically made a lot of really tough decisions related to personnel and hiring and firing and just all kinds of high pressure stuff. I said, "What's
Hmm.
the best part about being retired?" After he was retired for a couple of years, he said, "Tuesday morning, 10:30 a.m., Orange County Register." Right? Nowhere to be,
That's that's
no
what's up.
responsibility, just reading the
Right.
news, coffee at the table, and that's it. Right? No
That's
big
what's up.
decisions to make. So that really hit me because it wasn't about, oh, we went to France for 3 weeks and stayed in a villa, which
Right.
is, I've been to France. It's cool, right? Like, you want to
Yeah.
go to a villa, it's fine by me. We can make that plan. But really what it is about is contentment,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so what you'll notice
Holding. Yeah.
that
Sorry. Go ahead.
thread, I'm sorry, that thread throughout all of those phases of life that we talked about is finding contentment in where you're at and then building a plan towards where that contentment is going to stay in
Yeah.
place throughout your
If
life.
you enjoyed this content, be sure to check out the Standing Still podcast, both here on YouTube and wherever else you listen to podcasts.